we sold shoes to
Hello everyone, welcome to the Breaking Uneven podcast. We love to talk shop, uncover the beauty of failures, and play a few games. Today we have with us Vedant Lamba, or as he's known by his friends, Vedu. I feel like that's become your personal brand, right?
it's like an internet name now. A lot of people don't know my name is Vedant.
Oh, really?
I recently discovered this. Like what? It's like, yeah.
So he's the founder of Main Street. Vedant, how are you feeling? You good?
Good man. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Vedant, you've been an entrepreneur from the get-go, beginning with AV Enterprises, Wilfred Media and Company, and then Main Street TV and Main Street.
Yeah.
And we're here today because of the Main Street brand. So let's first understand exactly what it is.
So we have a game for this. It's called Twitter Pit Challenge. Twitter is known for its 280 character limit on every tweet, which sometimes makes it a little difficult to convey your thoughts. So it takes about 20 seconds for you to speak 280 characters. And we want to transfer this challenge to you to explain to us mainstream in 20 seconds. But we won't make it easy. We also want you to use one emoji and one hashtag in your tweet.
Okay.
Got it?
So, we have a stopwatch for you.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so 3, 2, 1, go.
Main Street is an organization aiming to redefine the hashtag luxury money bag emoji shopping ecosystem in India.
Nah.
Damn, dude, I don't think we've had that crisp an answer in a while.
Yeah.
That was good. So, first things first, we're going to address the commonality between us, right? So, you began Main Street with Main Street TV, which is a media division that focuses on the culture that you wanted to tap into with the product side, right? Main Street TV has grown into a business of its own today. Apart from the profits or the revenue that model of Main Street TV, how initially did you see it serving your main business?
There was no main business, dude. So when I learned about sneakers, it was like, oh, there seems to be an opportunity to build something around sneakers in India. So I hit up a friend of mine who also he actually just got sneakers way more than I did. And I was like, dude, let's start a sneaker store. And we curate a good retail collection from a bunch of brands, and we'll educate audiences here to build sneaker culture in India, quote unquote. And then we started working on that, and we just sort of first step was, oh, you need money to start a store. It's like, we don't have any money. So it's like, okay, we can start a YouTube channel because we can shoot videos and edit them for free because I understood how to edit video, and I had a little computer at home. So we just started on that was it, and then it just sort of evolved because I used to run a vlog of my own, and I was talking about how I wanted to build something with sneakers, and this dude once DM'd me saying, dude, can you help me get these shoes? And I was like, yeah, sure. So I hustled, and I would just sell shoes to this one guy because I didn't have any money. I needed to make money. So I was making money selling shoes to that one dude. We didn't have money to start a store or any of that. So eventually the YouTube then became a store because a fellow in Pune DM'd me saying, hey man, do you want to sell your stuff here? I'm starting a tattoo parlor in Koregaon Park. It's like a posh area in Pune. I was like, we don't sell anything, but let me look at the space. And when I looked at the space, I was like, damn, this is a nice space. And I was like, look, we don't have money to pay you rent. But I can tell our YouTube subscribers, which is 300 at the time. I said, I can tell our YouTube subscribers to give us their shoes and we'll sell them, keep a commission, and give you a commission off of that. He was like, cool. And I convinced him to do the interiors or whatever. And boom, we had India's first sneaker resale store.
Damn.
And that is technically 95% of our business even today. We do YouTube and then we do consignment sneakers. So now we have the store in Bombay and Delhi. Of course, we pay landlords rent now.
Can't do commissions forever.
Yeah, but accidentally we stumbled upon that business model, which just ended up being the most sustainable way to actually build. Because the Indian market doesn't have enough depth to build a fully functioning sneaker platform in the country. Everybody's been trying to do it. It's very slim margin.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to build distribution. The distribution is expensive. So nobody's been able to build a good quality platform in the country. But we managed to acquire distribution for cheap because we were using YouTube. And because we were doing content effectively. And because we were doing content effectively, that became profitable in and of itself, which gave us distribution as almost an asset, which allowed us to build a business with such slim margins and no money.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much how we managed to build whatever we did so far. And going forward, the plans are different, but it was a great way to get to where we are.
No, definitely. I think the community that you built, I mean, everything that you've said right now, all of it came from that community.
Yeah.
But, you said that YouTube was not meant to be a business, that it was just meant to be.
I mean, there was the hopes. Actually, we got our first brand deal at the same 300 subscriber mark.
No way.
Just because I hustled my way into it. I convinced somebody that we'd make something cool. 15,000 rupees. It was crazy.
Not bad.
I don't think we actually got paid for it because we were so bad at following up on things. And I just almost felt guilty following up on that invoice. But yeah, I was so like procrastination heavy, so distracted. It was so hard for me to do simple things.
But tell me about that. Why would you feel guilty about sending
It's
that
not a
invoice?
guilty thing as much as I'm very heavy like ADHD. So I was very bad at doing small things when I was starting. Like I'm very, very ambitious, but I'd be terrible at how to ship a pair of shoes out. And any small sort of barrier, I don't know how to print a label, I don't know how to get a box, would make me procrastinate this to the moon. So I would just sort of refrain from, I see that trait in me change over time, but I would refrain from sort of texting that guy saying, can you pay or whatever, just because I was, I don't know, scared that he would say no or whatever, something I had done wrong or whatever. I just had like these layers of fear on which like I would procrastinate so much, like simple things. So very often I would tell people that, whatever we built so far was like despite. It's like I've somehow managed to build something despite my mind. I don't think I've actually done any real work till like very recently. I've somehow just about doing bare minimum managed to just go one thing after the other that I've built with like immense fear. And I've spent the last like year and a half like really working on that end of things and trying to break out of that shell. I've come a long way, but yeah, it was I was very like I look back, I'm like, wow, I could have accomplished in like 6 months what took me 5 years, if I could just do simple things.
But I think
so crippled.
I'm kind of the opposite. So like for me, I love
Good,
exploring.
Man. Flexing on me like that.
No.
Congratulations, Anuj. Hard work.
It's also a problem because I'll tell you why. For me, I love to, like, for example, if I was to finish a shipping label, right? I'll be like, oh, it's a new thing. I'll quickly try and figure it out. But the moment I then hit a barrier, or I think that, this is like more complex than I thought it was, I will completely ditch it unless I can get someone to do it. So I'm like kind of on the other extreme where I'm happy to take the first step, but then not go.
Yeah, it's not like I lack curiosity. I was, because of that, I'd be like trying. Mainstreet is it's not the third, it's like my 15th business.
Yeah.
I tried everything before this. I have done, I've hosted tech reviews in Hindi on YouTube. I have done car reviews. I tried building Dunzo like 4 years before Dunzo happened. I tried building Yulu like 4 or 5 years before Yulu happened. I tried like everything. And I just didn't know what to do more, and then I'd move on.
So do you think it was your love for the sneaker culture, for that culture that kept you in this?
I didn't understand any of that. I'm not bored of like fancy pair of shoes.
You're a Dhanda guy.
Not even that. I love fashion. I learned about it. It's never had the means, so I never understood it. I'm clearly is not like a fashionable guy. Today it's like a conscious decision, but at that point, choice was just bad. I think my taste was just bad.
What was your motivation then to like continue, like to reach your 15th?
Seemed like reach my 15th. Oh, that was just always like every business idea seemed like it for me. Like and I'd just spend like hours dreaming about how big. It just started when I was like 10, 11 maybe, dude. I was, I think it was skateboarding. It seemed very cool. And in my head, for some reason, very weird kid, that the thought process that built out when I learned about skateboarding was, the next time I go on vacation with my family, I should buy a skateboard. I should find a guy who's good at this, should get him to come back to India and train more people and build like a skateboarding school. That seems like a great like business. But I don't know why I thought like this. It's very whack. But I distinctly remember building out this as like it just seemed cool to build something big. And whenever I've thought about it, I sort of track it back to before my 10th birthday. I asked my dad for an iPod. And I very distinctly remember this conversation. Dad, can I get an iPod? And he was like, do you know who made the iPod? I was like, no, Dad, I am 10 years old. I don't know who fucking made the iPod. And then he very, very concisely explained to me who Steve Jobs is. He was like, this guy started Apple. He got kicked out of Apple. And he started Pixar. And he came back and now he's doing iPod. And I was like, wow, the same guy is responsible for the iPod and Toy Story. That's like It's like, that's insane. Like, that's the coolest thing to a 10-year-old,
Yeah.
right? And in my head, I think that like really like left me like bitten. And since then, I've always wanted to build something with like impact. I think the first 4-5 years of Mainstreet was so branding heavy and just doing cool things that made noise, that it was so not focused on cash flows, because my interests were like really lay in brand building, you know. And I feel like I was really past that, and I was just like cash flow. Really cash flow. I wish we manifested that. You know, it's like we got everything we manifested. Why the fuck did we manifest like bank balance? It's like, why did we not manifest that, guy? Life would have been a lot less stressful. But it was, I don't know, regrets. It's been cool. But yeah, that's sort of where it comes from.
Okay,
It's been a
that's
long journey.
that's interesting. And like I guess we'll come to like the cash flow part in a bit. But
Yeah,
currently,
or the lack thereof.
currently, if I asked you what are like the 3 things that you do for your business on a daily basis, what would it be?
So I think capitalizing it, driving culture, and looking for leverage with distribution. So there's 3 things that sort of, I think, occupy the most of my time. On one end is sort of making sure we have enough money, wherever that's from, right? Because that's key to survival till you can strike growth. B, it's the people that like really make it worthwhile. I'm very proud. Like this, I say, this is something that this is, I think, my greatest achievement is there's like 4 or 5 people on the team who are like just like incredible human beings. And it fills me with so much like joy to look around and like just see them around and look at them sort of dedicate their time to this. You know, that okay, this is not just me anymore. And very often I'll find myself to stop in the middle of a day and like almost pinching myself to be like, damn, like these guys care so much about this. And I'm like, why? Why do they care so much about this? But they do. And the third thing is constantly looking for what will give us enough leverage to grow to the next phase. And each of them have like sort of, it's flat and then spike and flat and spike, and you know, every day, every week, every month you try to make a spike in at least one of them. But yeah, so making sure that there's good people around, you're looking for more good people, the good people are happy, the good people are doing good work, you're helping them do good work, you're making sure they're aligned, you make sure they have the resource pools. It's almost like when I really find somebody great on the team, it usually ends up being that I'm working for them. And I love it like that. Because it's just I'm trying to help them do their best work. So it's like they'll be like, they need this to make this happen, or they need that to make this happen, or they want this, that. I'm just trying my best to make that happen. And when I do my job right, they feel like I'm working for them, and it's great. And because of that, there's a very solid, sort of balanced, mutual sense of respect. And you know, we both have that. I think there's a good amount of folks like that on the team where they don't feel like it's not like I don't feel like there's any sort of employee-employer equation at all. It's just an excellent partnership.
Like I'm also again the same in that, because I always start a call or a meeting with someone saying, hey, what are you working on today? And then once they explain it to me, I'm like, okay, what can I do to make it happen, make it easier, whatever. So it's always like, you know, it's your responsibility. You have decided what to do. Now just tell me how can the team or anyone help you make it happen.
Yeah. But I think those are 3 things that pretty much, when I look back, I say, okay, these are 3 things I'm always trying to do intrinsically, and now I'm trying to do it more consciously. But yeah.
Fair. So when you started Mainstreet, you had like someone had reached out to you. Did you started with that person, or did you end up being like a solo founder?
I started Mainstreet with 2 friends.
2 friends.
Before this tattoo parlor kid came into the picture, and I made him like a landlord of sorts.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Mainstreet was just 2 friends of mine from Pune and me, who were wonderful. One of them really introduced me to the world of sneakers because of like a Snapchat story. The other knew fashion really. Both of them knew fashion way better than I did and consumed it a lot more, and they taught me a lot about that. And one of them actually was the reason we started the YouTube channel, because he recommended, and I was kind of burnt out with YouTube at the time, like doing YouTube every single day and having no success. You know, it was vlogging was really rough on me. It was very hard to do, and it was no success at that time. But I just really persevered through it. I'm glad I did. But yeah, so I was kind of burnt out about YouTube, and this other guy recommended it, and it worked so well for us. And so I'm really grateful for them at that time. Unfortunately, it didn't work out with them over time. They were both in college. I wasn't. Um, so yeah, but I think they're both happy that something we started is today doing reasonably well.
Yeah.
I'm still like good friends with both of them. Yeah, it's good.
Sick. I feel like, the whole like starting things on your own or building things, I guess, on your own is not like the easiest journey.
Oh, it's horrible, man.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
That-
It's despicably sad and lonely, and it's horrible.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, it's like, I think like the things that I've previously started has always been with someone. So there's always been like a bouncing
you.
board and things like that.
Yeah.
And then now, like when I'm trying to start something currently and trying to work on things now, it's like, okay, it's just me. And don't get me wrong, I like that it's just me because then it helps being the decision maker. But at the same time, it's like, okay, like how to go ahead. Like if there is a block, there's no third perspective or there's nothing like that. So when it was just you, how was that journey of like dealing with?
I think unfortunately, I just had a very, like I said, the other guys had like college and other priorities and things like that. But I think growing up, I was so obsessed with building something that for me it was like almost a non-negotiable mental model that if a task came up and it was like you do this and you get closer to building something, I'd be like yes,
Yeah.
no matter what it was. It was wake up at 4. I used to take the bus to Bombay like once a week, twice a week for I don't know how many years before I moved here. And I would do that while vlogging, and I was building Mainstreet and 2 other businesses while doing all of these things, just because it was like, if you want to do this in life and this is what it's going to take, you non-negotiably do it. And I think other people didn't see it the same way, so we had like different visions. I feel like in a way I've just been alone throughout, and it's been pretty horrible. Like,
but you're not alone today. You've got the 5 or 6.
we have got great team
Yeah.
members. Yeah, so today I'm really lucky to have that. Unfortunately, even on some level, even today, despite that, because there is some semblance of a distance when it comes to like the larger brands, because they're great at what they do.
That's what they do, yeah.
On a larger level, I'm still like on a higher level. Unfortunately, I'm still alone. But I think because they've given me so much support and headroom, we're able to keep certain loops running, which give us so much life, like our YouTube, like our social media, like a lot of our marketplace ops and things like that, which allows me to then, further the vision that I had earlier and develop. And I develop it with them. We always talk back and forth, and it's great. But yeah, it's really tough, man. You gotta optimize for like your mental well-being, and I put a good amount of time into that. I've been seeing a therapist for a while. I have a coach now. I exercise without fail. I eat clean, and I'm blessed with a really strong resource pool of advisors. Just people I've built like great equations with, and friends who I can like pick up the phone and call. A lot of them have like great co-founders. I'm pretty jealous. But, but I use the hell out of them. It's like fully to the extent of whatever resource I get that I take it. Like the other day, I literally like my finance team and I were stuck on like a problem with like an accounting issue, and I was like, fuck you guys, get the fuck up. And it took 3 of them, and we went to his friend's office, and I sat in his cabin. And he's founder of a big like 2,000 person company, massive like unicorn, everything. And we're sitting there in his office, middle of the day. For like 2.5 hours. I'm like, dude, why don't you call someone from your finance team? He's like, no, they have better work to do. And he's sitting and solving this for us, but solved it, man. It's great.
That's
It's
insane.
worthwhile.
Speaking of finance, you raised about, I think, over $2 million last year for your business. What do you think was the single most convincing factor for your investor?
I think the fact that I managed to convey that this business may or may not work, but my commitment is to making something work, and I will figure that out. And I was very honest about that, because there was always a question of how deep is the TAM for sneaker resale. A very valid question,
Yeah, and as you said, the market is slim.
Yeah, exactly. So there's all those concerns. But I was like, guys, I don't care about sneakers. I'm trying to build a really large business. I'll figure it out. You give me your money. And we managed to build some brand value and all of that. So, but I think so early, everybody is just betting on founder.
Of course, yeah.
And I built enough leverage to sort of convince people of that. It worked out.
So you're about now 6 months, I think 6 to 8 months since your fundraise, approximately. How has that changed how your business
That's
operates?
been horrible. Very tough. Very, very hard to have a lot of these.
Because everyone thinks that the fundraise is the goal, and then
It's gone.
and then you're
It's
And
gone.
that's the hard part. Like
Money
getting
is
the
gone.
fund.
getting the funding is the hard part, and then after it is
That's
the
it.
toughest
It's
part
way
because you have
harder.
to justify
Who
every
thought?
dollar you spend now.
Yeah. Not just that, it has to still exist. It goes, it goes pretty quick. And then you're raising again. I'm like, how am I raising? I was like, I thought life was gonna be good. But yeah, it's just been rough. How's my life changed? It's just gone hard, way harder. But doing the hard things is great. There's nothing I would rather do because you're just sort of moving the right direction. And very often, and I've seen these moments repeatedly, times that I've really just been down and out. But there's just been some sort of blind faith that we just have to keep going, it'll work out. And then soon enough, they're like, oh shit, life is going to change again. And I'm just exiting like a 4-month period of like chronic hardships and sadness. And like, if anybody met me even for the first time at that time, they'd be like, why do you look so fucked? Like, why do you look so stressed? Like, have you not? It was really, really hard. It was, I think, the hardest time of my life, the hardest 90 days of my life for sure. But I really evolved, dude. I think I've changed more in the last 4 months than I have in the last like 5 years, and I've fully like broken out of that shell of like procrastination. And today, I have like my levels of productivity are like impossible for me to believe. Like the amount of shit I get done in a week now, and I have a very strict process around it. I
Very cool.
do a bunch of things
Yeah.
like culture building, a lot of things. And one thing is a lot of alignment, and my actions are way more aligned with my intent than they ever were. If I wanted to get something done, I'm seeing it happen very quickly and moving on. And that's leaving my chest so light that I'm able to think of more important things. And it's a great feeling today. There's this quote on like, with crisis and like the bad companies will die, good companies survive, but like great companies are defined. And I was really adamant on letting like that crisis really define us going forward, because the goal is always to build something great. So yeah, I think today, like I'm entering a life-changing phase. Today should be a good day if all goes well. We're looking at good year. For sure.
That's why we keep the wooden table. What other table? Keep a wooden table.
Hell yeah, man.
I think we do one like knock on wood every
Every
episode.
year.
Yeah, it's been good. But yeah, life has changed for the better. Net better.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, excited to see like everything that is to come because I feel like you've done so many like cool things already. So to
Yeah.
see where this is gonna
Hopefully
go.
make money.
Yeah.
That would be great.
We can have you back then.
Yeah, once we made some money.
But yeah, so moving on to our next game, it's called Two Truths and One Lie. So to understand a little bit more about your journey with Main Street, we're gonna play this game. Whether it's challenges or your biggest achievements, the idea is you give us 3 statements from which 2 are true and 1 is a lie, and then we have to guess which one is the lie.
We sold shoes to one of my biggest investors fucked me up 3 months post fundraise and said to me that I'm writing off this investment as bad judgment of character. And I have advisory equity in a phone company.
Wow, interesting.
Third one's possible because he's close to Carl.
Yeah.
2 truths and a lie. Okay.
I think I'm gonna say the lie is the third one.
Okay, wait. I'm gonna go with what was the first one?
Selling shoes in the I think
I'm
it's
gonna
so
go for the first
outdated.
one.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
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 I don't.
Why not?
We
You know
sold
what, let's
shoes
just
to all
not-
kinds of
I-
people, bro.
I would
Yeah.
I'd
Why
rather
does it
avoid on a public platform speaking anything further.
Fair enough. But very high chance that he could have bought some as a gift.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's
We've
true.
sold shoes to people around him. So
Nice.
Close enough.
it's close enough.
Maybe it's reached him eventually. Someone else bought for him.
So then I'm definitely right.
Yeah.
But so you've got advisory equity.
Nothing else.
Yeah.
Actually, all of nothing's YouTube with me.
Oh,
No
sick.
way.
Like the initial idea, strategy was
Super
big dream
cool,
come
man.
true for me,
Super
dude. As a
cool.
kid, like just being able to see like that phone on launch day would be exciting for me. Like when I was doing phone reviews, I went to the OnePlus 5 launch.
Yeah.
Carlos, and I was just excited to be in like an auditorium with 5,000 people.
Yeah, that's.
But now
that's
Carl and I are boys, dude. It's like whenever
That's
they're doing
fun.
things, he listens to me. It's crazy. So they did that. We're doing a video. That's a video with him. He's whatever doing for the new phone also. Like I set up the next 2 videos they're doing in India. So it's crazy to me that he like
How did that relationship begin?
Yeah.
Big hustle, man. So they were in town for the Nothing Phone 1 launch. A friend, Cecilia took me, Shachi's, you come to Soho, I went. And then the launch party was the next day, which Karan Johar was hosting. And I was like, Cecilia, can you please take me? She said, okay. And that's where I met Dippy. That's where I met Carl. Carl and I were just chatting outside, and I was getting to know him, and and we were getting along. And this photographer came to take a photo of us, and we were posing. And then somebody else joined, and someone else joined, and now it is all of their investors and me at the center of this image. It has now done the rounds on Twitter. It's Nothing Investor Success Party with me in the center of this image. I had to clarify on Twitter, like, guys, I don't have the money, nor would I have the option to invest, but it was very nice to be here.
Yeah.
And then the next time I was in London, I went to dinner with Carl, and I was giving him some very unsolicited advice. And I was like, dude, Nothing is such incredible community. You all should do more YouTube. And he said, why don't you come to the office and do like a brainstorm with the team? So I did that. And then they started, and the first video was him reviewing the iPhone 14 Pro, which blew up. And he sent me like a message saying, bro, thanks, Steve. And I was like, that's crazy.
That's mad.
And every time he would come to India, I'd give him some ideas, and he started taking them, and he saw them work well. So now for this new phone, also we're doing something pretty cool. Him and I are doing a video together.
Oh, nice.
Really nice. Really nice.
That's good.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
It was just a dream come true. Like, pitching myself. Like, I'm such
It
a big
didn't just come
nerd.
true. You made it happen, but
Yeah.
super cool stuff. Cool. Let's
And
go
then-
to our next. Oh, sorry. Finish.
I was just gonna ask the second thing. Was your investor?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
It's terrible.
Oh God.
Horrible.
Yeah, I forgot, like, you
Yeah.
didn't want to go.
Okay,
deep into
sorry.
it.
It's not much deep to go. It happened. If it helps, we're fine now.
Okay, yeah.
And
Then that's good.
Yeah.
he might lead my Series A. So it decent turnaround.
Good turnaround, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's go to our next game. This one's called Red Flags. We're going to give you 3 hypothetical situations. In each situation, there are 2 things that are going great and 1 thing that's not so great.
Yeah.
You have to pick which of these 3 would you rather be in. So, situation 1 is Mainstreet is selling in over 20 countries. Your year-on-year revenue growth is strong at 50%, but your latest campaign is received horribly by the masses. Situation 2 is Mainstreet now has over 500 employees. Your recent fundraise has allowed you to double the size of your inventory, but you haven't been able to take a break in more than 1 year. And situation 3 is Mainstreet has had an offer to be acquired. Your media revenue is actually contributing to business profits, but you've almost exhausted your fundraise capital and still have bleeding costs.
That third is just bad. First, second are fine. First, second are very manageable.
So which one would you rather be in? You want to refer to
I have to pick one?
Yeah.
First.
First.
Campaign failure is completely fine, dude. Easy to
Yeah.
manage. I'm very good at apologizing. I'm excellent at apologizing.
And I feel
I
like,
do it all the time.
and I feel like in general also, if you are
Dude, 20 countries, 50% year-on-year growth, one bad campaign. Great.
Okay.
In fact, that's great. It'll
Yeah,
get so
it
much
helps,
more reach,
yeah.
so much distribution. Fantastic situation to be in. Love that. Backlash is great. It's perfectly fine. I'm pre-cancelled on the internet, but it's fine. Biggest target for cancellation. It's okay. We'll be fine. As
Yeah.
long as we got money, that's what matters.
Fair. So our final segment is the rapid fire. Well, self-explanatory. So we ask you questions and you need to give us quick and short answers. So how many days of leave have you taken in the last year?
0.
Your proudest moment with Mainstreet?
Seeing my first employee go from not being able to wake up before 11 a.m. to show up at office at 10 a.m. every day.
Damn. Okay. What was the one time you felt like you let Mainstreet know?
We had an accounting discrepancy last year, but I don't know. I think that was me letting it down from day one. That was a regret that day one I should have been on top of this.
Okay, interesting.
Your favorite Mainstreet product?
We have our own brand called Gear.
Yeah.
Gear has a really nice white hoodie. really nice.
What is the scrappiest thing that you've done to build your business?
Dude, first 2 years of the Bombay store, I lived in an apartment. It was a 2-bedroom. I slept in one room. The other room had 2 employees, and around their bed was racks full of inventory. And the outside area was ops and shipping. So 6 people a day used to work. And I couldn't sit in that house. It was terrible.
Wow.
There was barely any place to walk. I lived with that for 2 years.
Damn.
And we had this one scooter that my ex-roommate left in Bombay when he moved back to Pune. And me and these 2 guys used to go to the store every day. And it was great. Like I never
Yeah.
looked at it. It was such a luxury at the time to have an apartment, to be able to pay full rent for the whole apartment, to have these 2 employees. It was excellent. But I look back, I was like, wow, that's a cool hustle. But
Yeah.
it was amazing. Like just
That's mad.
Yeah,
but
that's
it is
crazy.
objectively scrappy, but time of my life working with them. It's a lot of fun.
Your emotion when you first fired someone.
Cold. I don't care. If they're getting fired, they shouldn't be here. It's their fault. Big opportunity to build something massive. If you're not taking it up, it's on you. Get the fuck out of here.
Damn. I think you're like the first person that like said it outright. Everyone's like, oh, like,
You
scared,
are-
this,
No,
that.
screw them,
He's
man. They
free
should-
cancer, so he doesn't.
No, they should not be
No,
here.
but like
I'm
he
giving
agrees
them
that.
such a big opportunity. If I'm gonna take it up, it's on you.
Fair.
It's not like I'm putting in any less. I'm putting in everything.
What did or will you do with your first profit?
It's gone. Game went.
What do you do
with it? I never really bought myself anything. But profit, just making money, just allowed us to live a bare minimum comfortable life, which gave me good joy. Like today, I have a car driver. I have a great 24/7 help at home. Like my life is very luxurious, but at a very bare minimum level. Like I have
Yeah.
extreme luxuries at a bare minimum level. Like I don't have to pack my own bag. I don't have to make my own food. My food is like weighed and macro like set up, and all of that is incredible. And I have a great gym trainer. All those things like mean everything to me.
Yeah. Books or podcasts?
Podcast,
iPad or notebook?
iPad.
Are you a morning person or a night owl?
Right now, I wake up every morning, but I'm not a morning person, so I'm neither.
Fair. And your favorite social media platform?
YouTube.
So yeah, that concludes the rapid fire segment, almost bringing us to the end of the podcast. We ask every guest to ask our next guest a question. So we're gonna let them ask you.
Oh,
We had two guests
Yep.
previously.
do I
You
know
have
who
two
the next
questions.
guest is?
You won't know.
Who it is?
So these are our previous guests. They're the founder of a company called Adapt, which is a
Called
Adapt.
Adapt.
so they connect
Therapists
therapists
to
to
Okay.
students.
students.
Okay, so my question is, what has been your greatest and biggest learning experience and challenge in your startup journey?
And
Specific.
something along similar lines, what has been the biggest
change for you in terms of like a mindset that when you started versus when you actually entered the space? What is one thing that was completely different than what you'd expected it to be?
I think just the value of patience. I'm a very impatient person, so learning to be like taking patient, secure decisions was hard. Also a very insecure person, so sort of building past that, breaking past that is very valuable. So what's my biggest mindset shift? I think very similar, along similar lines. Just shifting that mentality on taking harder decisions quicker, getting over dependencies, insecurities, just understanding that everything is going to be okay no matter what. Like we've survived so much shit.
Yeah.
I was like, nothing will phase me now. How much worse can it
Don't tempt fate, please.
get? I don't think it was. I've tempted enough.
Okay.
I've taken enough on the chin. I'm very calloused, very bruised. I'm ready now. Muscle I started building back. They've torn enough. But yeah, just like patience, driving security. I recently went on this journey to interact more with my family on like sort of how much wealth we have as a family to drive security from there to take better decisions. Because I had a very, very standard, it's the most, I think it's the highest form and the shallowest form of privilege to be like, I want to make it on my own. I think it's disgusting, honestly. And I never felt like that. It was never like, oh, I want to make it on my own. But when I moved to Bombay, I was like, I won't take any money from home. I want to learn how to struggle. I still don't do that, but I realized that with work being so fickle and me playing such a risky game, I never set aside any money for myself. I barely take a salary, nothing. Because I was like, I'm betting everything on this.
Yeah.
And I could have been like 21, 22, making 10, 15 lakhs a month from the profit we were making at the time and lived a decently comfy life. It was never interesting to me.
Yeah.
Because I was privileged enough to not, to
Yeah.
not have to worry about those things. I knew my game was, I can give this the next decade, and if everything crashes and goes to shit, I can move back home to Pune and restart life. Fantastic. But I found myself still somewhere insecure because anytime work got tough, I'd start like I'd think before ordering Zomato and all, like stupid shit. Like it's not going to make any difference. But it was just somewhere was stupid. But I would think before buying a new like phone charger, like stupid, makes no difference. And things I would still do it. I never stopped. My behavior never changed. But I went on this journey to just sort of delve deep into, like, I never asked my dad sort of how much money we have or whatever. I just understood that and I was like, okay, this is great. Now that I know that this is how secure I am in life, now I can take much better decisions here. And it's changed everything. It was good. Yeah.
That's a great answer.
Yeah.
Great answer.
Yeah, it was a big mindset shift for me. I sat and I articulated. I remember one day at like 5 a.m. I was writing, I am insecure because I know on everything. I articulated as keenly as I could. And just understanding it was enough. And one of them included like the financial. I was like, okay, no, we got to solve this. And I went and I solved this with my dad. And it was good.
Nice.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Good. Thank you for giving us the time. Thank you
Sure,
for
man.
being
Thank
on.
you for having me.
Did you
It was
enjoy?
Yeah, it was great. It's a very interesting format. I
Awesome.
try to avoid like podcasts as much as I can these days, just because it's so easy to chat shit. Doing the work is really hard, and I'm really good at talking. The problem, you talk so much, you sort of start selling yourself the story. It's like you live in this story in your head. I'm like, do the work, get the fuck out of this. It's a very PR friendly business now, so got a lot of PR over the last couple of years, and at some point, I kind of started living that narrative. And I realized, and I was like, no, I gotta exit. So I fired a PR company. I'd stay away from as many interviews, podcasts as possible. Like, let us do some good work.
Interesting. But like,
Interesting.
that means you're self-aware. Like, you know how that journey went. So that's cool.
Decently
Yeah.
just have to act on it. That is the hard
No.
part.
I guess this is accountability for you. You've said a lot that you're gonna act on. So
So now whenever I do a podcast, this is the narrative I play. I'm like, look, I'm exiting as much. I'm still here. It's like either it'll be like a good friend or a big opportunity. So I try to logistically avoid as much as possible. But I did this barber shop with Shantanu recently, the Bombay shaving company. Yeah, that should be interesting. Yeah, it's been good.
Cool.
Thank you guys for having me.